there was a kid in our class who had an eraser that was shaped like a crayon. And I asked him if that eraser could erase crayon. And he told me point blank, yes. Yes, it could. And I needed that crayon eraser. Welcome once again to the Die or Pass Level podcast. We're here once again at the Doppel Arcade. We're all out of tokens, and now we just all we got time to do is chat. So let's say hello to Bran Bran. What's up?
Hey, how's everyone doing out there in Radio Land?
Oh, we're chilling. I'm Ray. You guys know me. Brandon missed the last episode, as you guys saw. I'm very furious at this guy.
I owe you, baby.
But got some good content with the Super Bonus Bros episodes. Congratulations on 100%ing Balatro. Is that correct?
Yeah, not the challenges, but I did unlock all of the cards, all the decks, all the cards, all the jokers, all of the vouchers. So I'm done. I didn't do the challenges yet, but I'm good. I'm taking a break. My wrist needs a break from Balatro for a little bit, so I'm good.
So Balatro is the game Brandon's been gushing about since basically the genesis of this podcast. I've also been gushing about one that I started around the time this podcast started, and that's Star of Providence. It's a run-based game, kind of like Balatro, or kind of like Enter the Gungeon or Dead Cells. But I finally reached the final boss, defeated the final boss, and completed my very first run. And as all those games go, the real journey is just beginning. And so like now I got like a cool new weapon, the bosses are extra strong. That's my big W. I also just heard about a game called Blueprints, which I think I gotta play so that I can beg you to play, because it's more your speed.
Actually, it's really weird. Like, and God bless the internet for this very reason. But when you texted me, literally I was on like my Blue Sky thread, and I just kept seeing all these artists that I follow. Blueprints. Like, okay, all right, that you know me, Ray. I gotta have a couple more vouchers.
Yeah, Brandon will never play a game that I co-sign. Just that I co-sign.
Hey, to be fair,
but if Twitter.
To be fair, you and I play very different. I mean, we do have a lot in common. Our Venn diagrams do cross over quite a bit. You and I also play very different games. It's weird. The yin and yang of our friendship and our gaming is this is the harmony, the balance.
It's also weird because I can't put my finger on it exactly. Like a game like The Witness to me is like, this is Brandon coded, and then I don't think you've ever played it, right? No, or you care to play it?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, check out The Witness. But anyways, Blueprints, I'm gonna get it, and I think you should too. If you don't, then I'm just gonna bug you about it until you do. After I beat it.
I think Beth, my wife, would actually be into it too. So I was like, extra more appealing, because I was like, ooh, this is something she might be into. The one thing I'm a little worried about that I saw someone talk about it was that the motion sickness, and I was like, oh, I do get motion sickness. Half-Life 2 really messed me up, so I'm a little scared about that. But we'll see. I definitely want to check it
out. Today's subject is actually about gaming heartbreaks and disappointments. I definitely have a handful that I can share with you. Even just on the rental side of things, it's always rough. You know, as a kid going into the rental store and taking that risk, right? Rolling that dice. You win some, you lose some. I've definitely lost a handful, and I've definitely won a handful. I can share a few games that I definitely think missed the mark that Brandon, apparently, there's one in particular that Brandon just thinks is a huge W. To me is a major L.
Speaking of, see, that's what I'm talking about, man. See, not everything that it doesn't always match up.
It's the Venn diagram, baby. What's that sound? Are you hearing that?
It sounds like alarms. That can only mean one thing.
Oh my goodness. Adam, are you there?
Yeah, hello? Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, there he is. What's up, Adam? How you doing?
Hi. I've been stressing so much about what kind of guest I should be, if I should be like zany or not, but I think I'm just gonna play it cool today.
You gotta do you. You always gotta do you.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, man. So before we get started and jump to our subject, I think it's important to first let me explain before we get into the questions. You are not seeing Adam, and that's because Adam just moved. Congratulations on the move, my friend. Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
As a result, his stuff is in boxes, and the laptop that he would be using for this podcast is currently somewhere. And we'd love to have you back so that people can see your beautiful face. But in the meantime, you're gonna get a cool drawing commissioned by Brandon of Adam that will hopefully shake. My idea is that the image will shake whenever Adam talks. I'll have to figure that out, but I think I can.
Also, hey, context. Who is Adam? Why is he on the show? Give me some context, Ray. Who
Sure.
is he?
Why are you
So
here?
I found Adam outside of Bob's Big Boy, and he just had a Halo shirt on, and I asked him to join the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Adam is a friend of mine through my wife, who Adam went to high school with. Is that right, Adam?
Yeah, we both went to the same high school, different classes, but same high
Yeah.
school.
And I was getting to know Kim and meeting Kim's friends and like trying to do my best to like pretend to like all of her friends, and Adam was one that I actually liked for
You
real.
got a couple of gaming friends out of Kim's high school.
Yeah.
It's really paying off.
It's really you're so sincere.
He's keeping it real, keeping it chill. He warned you.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do you. So I'm a give the floor to you, Adam. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, favorite game, obviously, favorite genre maybe, and then we'll go from there.
I was just thinking about that. You said games that you were recently playing, but right now I'm playing Indiana Jones and I think it's called the Great Circle.
I am
Or,
dying to play,
Xbox.
dude. I'm dying to play that game. I was heartbroken when I saw it was an Xbox exclusive because I do not have Xbox. But that game looks right up my alley. The writing looks just so authentic to an Indiana Jones story. I hate that I can't play that game. How are you enjoying it?
It really does feel like a movie. Like it could have been a movie. I'm so glad it's a game. But no, it's if you like Indiana Jones, it is fun. Like it almost feels like like I guess let's say like Assassin's Creed or those historical games where you just want to find all the little notes and read about the time. Like that's what it feels like. But it's also fun because like you're also like punching Nazis, but like you kind of forget that you're supposed to be just a human because sneaking around, and I'll accidentally like start a fight with like 20 dudes and then be surprised that I lost. Like, yeah, you're just like a nerd from college. What are you doing?
Yeah,
The good old everyman
But yeah,
kind of
that's
hero.
I saw a
yeah, no,
cutscene.
it's great.
Someone shared a cutscene about like it's him. He has to be a priest in a confessional, and it was just a quick scene of that. And I was like, the writing just looks so good, just based on that small clip.
It is so Indiana Jones. I've actually tried to find the time because you do have a gun at some point, and I've been putting off using it. And then there's one particular part where I was like, if I was an achievement, I would be here, and I used my gun and nothing happened. And I was like, now I feel like I definitely wasted an achievement because I'm pretty sure you could get through the game without using the gun
A
at all.
passive run.
But I was like, if there is an achievement for using your gun, it has to be here. And I used it and nothing happened. And I was like, okay, I'm overthinking it.
Get the rocket launcher.
Yeah, seriously. Like not to stick too much on this, but I do love that there's like food items in the game. And so you'll be fighting and then suddenly you'll pull out like a piece of bread to eat it to gain strength. And I just think it's hilarious picturing Indiana Jones like eating a pita bread in the middle of a fight because he's getting weak.
Why don't they ever show that in the movies?
I did a whole. I did a
I think it
whole.
is canon, yeah.
I did a couple articles for Dorkly. You guys remember Dorkly?
Yeah.
I did a couple
yeah.
freelance articles for them, and one of them was like the top best foods in video games or something like that. And like I just always thought it was funny that like I mean, what's that game? It's like Final Fight or something like that where you can, or Streets of Rage where you can just karate kick a barrel and eat a whole chicken.
Chicken will come out.
From the trash can of all places.
And that's like the best health ever.
There was a game. Oh, it was Tekken 2 or Tekken 3 on PlayStation. They had a mode where it's your Tekken character, but kind of playing it like a beat 'em up. And when you get chicken for your health, the little character select voice says chicken. Are you running Game Pass?
It's on Game Pass. Yeah, I love it. I love that because I'm so non-committal with my gaming. I would probably never buy it. So I do love that I can just hop on or hop off, and they're probably making their money off of me.
Yeah, I actually had Game Pass through a friend, and it was like this workaround. Hi Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I guess they figured me out or something because like I went to go play Indiana Jones and it was not available, or nor my games in my whole library. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I had a good run. Can't be mad, but I have to play it another time.
I think they've definitely adopted the Netflix style where like they'll have a game on there and then they'll pull it and like you'll have a file that's saved, but you just can't access it anymore. So I'm just waiting for them to bring back. I think it's called Kill It with Fire, which is just a first person where you just have to hunt
I know what you're
spiders.
talking about. Yeah.
I was getting really deeply involved in that game, and then they just yanked it, and I was like, "Oh no, I love it, but not 7.99 worth."
In this economy, I guess.
To kill fake spiders, I could go do that anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. So, favorite genre, favorite video game, like of all time.
Of all time, like I would probably say Mass Effect 2,
Mm.
in my opinion. Just solid game, solid, super. Learned a lot from the first one, made it a lot better, added a massive cast, and the story is just so damn good. I know not a lot of people liked the ending to 3, but 2 is, I think, like a perfect game.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who love that game, and I had a feeling that that would be your pick. I remember you talking at length about that game, saying it was really good. I think I played
Yeah.
it. I definitely played one on Xbox 360, or was
I think it was a 360 title. Yeah.
yeah. And I think we bought 2 but never finished it, but I could be wrong. And then 3 got like almost a little more action RPG-ish, but I definitely didn't play 3.
Yeah, it definitely took like it started slimming everything down to be more because the first one was just way too much like inventory and building, and I had to buy a new TV because I couldn't read all of the text that would come up. I swear to God, I was just too blurry.
Ah, I see.
And then yeah, as it went on, it got more like action based and less inventory management stuff like that, which
Yeah,
is
that's
nice.
dedication, man. Buying a whole TV for a video game, that's love right there.
Yeah, I couldn't read it, and I was like, dude, I don't know what I just agreed to because there's like branches, right?
Right, yeah.
And the game is so heavy on your decision making. I'm like, I can't agree to this. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
happening, so I had to go buy a new TV. But I would say it used to be first person shooter, but I've kind of moved away from that because just again the dedication of time. Now I'm just more like single player story
Yep.
adventure.
I think the first time I ever saw you play a video game is you like asked to play a round of Call of Duty on my Xbox maybe, and I was just like, oh, like okay, this guy wants to try Call of Duty. Cute. You and I had never really talked much about video games at that point, so I didn't know you had it like that. You're working fools. I'm like, oh dang, this guy's got skills.
Yeah, Xbox 360, Call of Duty in college was, I think, so many people's experience to gaming.
Yeah, totally.
It was definitely like a time to be alive kind of moment.
Oh man, what a time, man.
Yeah, but now like the game is so, I mean, I don't know if I'm aging myself. Like the game is just so much more different. Like you hop on, you're like, I don't even know what's happening right now. Like, why are there Ninja Turtles everywhere?
Those Ninja Turtles find their way into so many video games these days. Is it even a video game anymore if the Ninja Turtles aren't featured in it?
It's a real barometer for your success.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of Ninja Turtles, I'm always at the risk of repeating games that we've already talked about, but I mean, we can all agree that the NES Ninja Turtles. Did we talk about that before in the podcast? How terrible that game is?
Yeah, we talked about it, but you're
Anyway,
welcome to.
I mean, look, we don't have
reiterate
to spend too much time on it if we've already talked about it, but a lot of those IP games always let us down, right? And that was like that's a prime example. Is the not any of the arcade adaptations, mind you. We're not talking about Turtles in Time. We're not talking about the Manhattan Project. I'm talking about, we all know, the NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Awful, right? Like, just, what is this? This is way too hard. Way too hard. You're telling me that
Yeah.
if I use my favorite Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo, and he dies, he's dead for good? I can't ever bring him back?
the dreaded water stage with a coral reef of death.
Oh, dude, actually, here's a fun
And-
little fact. So I was an executive, as you know, I was an executive at Nickelodeon, and I used to work on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2012 series. There was an episode where they go underwater. They have like undersea adventure. And I was like, guys, please, please, please take one network note, put in pink seaweed, please do it as like a little nod. And like, yeah, they put a little nod in there and made a joke out of it. So keep an eye out for the episode. You want to see a little nod to the old crappy NES game?
Oh, that's good. Is that Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja
No,
Turtles?
earlier than that. It was like a 2012 series.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to check that out. If we're talking like major gaming disappointment, one of the biggest ones I remember that my sister remembers is Mario 64. Love that game, obviously. That's not the disappointment. Beat that game up and down. Got all 120 stars. Worked my ass off to get all 120 stars. Got to Yoshi on top of the roof. Got my 99 lives. I never cared to play that game again, but that wasn't the point, right? I never wanted my 120 save file to go anywhere. It was my crowning achievement. It was like my trophy that friends and peers and family who came over to the house to play Mario 64 could see, oh man, Ray and Eric, my brother, they got all 120 stars on this game. Amazing. Well, one day my little sister decided she wanted to play Mario 64 without me and my brother around. She tinkered around And instead of selecting the file, you can guess what happened. She deleted the file and it was unrecoverable. And I cared not to replicate that accomplishment ever again. And so it just ended
Can
there.
you replicate the squeal that you had when you found out this news? Can you replicate that?
Honestly, it was just somber disappointment. Yeah, I was just like devastated. She was so little. Even to this day, she'll like mention it like, okay, like I know I deleted your file. Just get over it.
I won't get over it.
It was pretty devastating. And then just another quick one related to Mario 64 is that when we first got our Nintendo 64, me and my brother got a Nintendo 64 day 0, a day before it even was supposed to release. We plugged in the N64 and it ran a different set of cables than what we had ran on the Super Nintendo and the NES, and it wasn't turning on when we like flipped the N64 on, checked every channel, like channel 3 didn't work, channel 4 didn't work. What other options are there? And I wish there was video of it. I was, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, crying hysterically that my Nintendo 64 wasn't working. In my mind, it was just all over. Did not have the foresight to like presume that it would work out in the end. I was just like, it's over. We're not ever gonna play Mario 64.
I would have been with you, man. I mean, to especially like a new console, you're jacked for it, dude. You have your perfect night laid out. This is how it's supposed to go, and then it just doesn't work. I would be destroyed. And there's no internet to look up how to fix it or troubleshoot it, right?
Yeah, it was like a severe moment of devastation for me. And then I don't know, on old TVs, there was like a little tab you pulled from the bottom, and there was like an extra set of buttons or knobs sometimes. And so we like messed around with that thing. And finally, my brother pressed the TV video button, which was not something we ever needed to press. And it worked. The tear's still on my face, but like my eyes just lit up. Mario's head is right there on the screen. You know that it's me, Mario.
The tears pooling in those little baby Ray dimples. I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just spent 30 minutes pulling Mario's nose into different places.
That's the whole night's just doing that.
Yep. But yeah, that was a moment of devastation and disappointment with a happy ending. Adam, you got a story to share?
I do. I saw this prompt and I could have gone a million different ways with it. I can think about one that stands out in my brain because it's about a game. It's not entirely about the gameplay itself, but back in elementary school when Pokemon Yellow came out, everyone knew Pokemon Yellow was going to come out. It was like, oh my God, there's going to be we've already got the 3. We already got red. We already got blue. But there's going to be another one. I remember one time we went to the mall and one of the kiosks, there was a video game kiosk there, and they advertised that they had Yellow already. Yellow wasn't out yet. And I was like, oh my God, these guys have some, I don't know what happened. I don't know what strings they pulled, but they have Yellow. And I begged my parents for it, and they got it for me. And they did the typical, like, okay, this counts as your Christmas and your birthday. And I remember even back then, I think they paid like $120 for it.
Damn,
and even as a kid, I was like, that sounds like a lot of money. And I think we all know now that that's probably way too much. And I get it, and I open it. It's got the Pikachu on the box, and I open it up, but the cartridge is gray.
Oh,
no! Okay, that's an indicator because I had already had blue, and everyone knows the Pokemon are usually color coded.
Right.
Cartridge is color coded. This one was gray, but the sticker was Pikachu on it, and the sticker was yellow. So I was like, okay, maybe they're changing things up. So I put it in, turn it on, and it works. And it's like Pokemon Yellow, and I'm like, oh my God, hell! So I spent like the entire weekend playing Pokemon Yellow. Pikachu's following me around. I can't wait to go to school. I go to school, tell everyone I have Pokemon Yellow, and for like 3 days, I'm like just showing my Game Boy to people. Bring it to school. Supposed to not have it, but we have it anyway. And I'm just showing all these kids, and I'm like, dude, this is so awesome. And then like on the 3rd day, I turn it on and it's just bricked. It just does not work. Everything's gone. And I turn it off, turn it back on. Like it just won't. It's just bricked completely. And I remember just that sinking feeling of like, what did I do? And I was so scared to tell my parents. I didn't know what the hell was happening.
Your family's like bank account went down to 0.
At least the only thing that's keeping us warm is the feeling that Adam's Pokemon game's working.
Yeah.
Let's gather around the warm glow of the Game Boy.
The giveaway was that I had been glued to this thing for like a week, and suddenly my mom was like, where's your game? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Like, aren't you supposed to be like on your game? And I finally told them, like, I think I broke it, and I explained it to them. And then I don't know what it was. I think it was like the next week it had come out, so I saw that people had the actual cartridge now, and then I started piecing it together. I was like, I think the one that we have isn't real. And we went back to the store, and it turned out that yeah, they had sold us a bootleg copy. It's my first time ever knowing it, and we got our money back. But I was so like distraught from it. I was distraught, but my dad also refused to buy me a new copy. So ultimately, I never got that yellow copy.
Wait. You got the refund. They admitted fault. They got the refund, but they wouldn't just like turn around and give you the new game?
No, I don't think they had the real
okay.
game. It was just like a kiosk. It was just like it wasn't like a GameStop or like a electronics boutique, if you will. No, they didn't have it.
Yeah, that was my next question. What store was this? It was like one of those little
it was like
carts at the middle of the mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a T-Mobile. It was a T-Mobile guy.
Yeah, I think that was why I thought they had it so early, because I was like, oh, these aren't the normal stores. These guys have an edge on.
That's a great.
Yeah.
I remember my dad was so pissed that he had bought a bootleg and paid all this money that I asked for the real one. He was like, nah, you can't. We're not doing it. I think I got it like a year or two later, but by then it had already fizzled out.
Senora, what if I throw in this copy of Pokemon Yellow with this perfume?
I just remember, yeah, no, so much. I mean, I'm sure it's still today, but back then there was so much fake IP around Pokemon that you could be like. I just like that I got punished for something that I had no business even in. I didn't buy it knowing it was fake.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
That is a
dude.
great. I mean, you can't think of a better story for this episode than that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good as far as heartbreak.
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain to a point in time. Did I ever get swindled like that? But no, I don't think I got bootleg version of a game at any point. But that's a bummer, dude.
That was the only thing I could think. I have another story about a game file, but it's similar to yours. So it's kind of the same exact thing, but the bootleg one I remember so.
Do you still have that? Do you still have the game?
I don't.
See, that's one of those things I wish you would have kept.
I could point it out in the lineup because I still remember exactly, because it was like the sticker on the cartridge was like kind of like warped a little bit, like the proportions weren't right. So like you could tell that it was just like a copy of a copy.
Pokemon.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon.
Core memory now. I have nothing against bootlegs, but I appreciate when people are upfront about it now.
Yeah. I'm still curious. I mean, you don't have to go into detail about it, but yeah, I still want to know what game file
I do too.
you lost.
Oh, it was a BioShock 2. I'll make it quick. I had a PlayStation 4 that towards the end of its life, it was just like, for whatever reason, it would not save. I had like the BioShock 1 and 2 with like the DLC. It was all preloaded on a disc, and it just wouldn't save. I remember I was living with my parents at the time, and I was like, okay, as long as I don't turn off the PlayStation, it won't turn off, like it'll just be on standby and then you can just hop back on. As long as I don't turn it off, we're good. I don't need to save it because it'll just be there. And I remember I came home from college once, or I think I had graduated by then. I came home and my PlayStation was off, and I was like, why is it off? And I remember asking my dad, like, hey, did something happen? Did the power go out? And I remember his explanation was, I couldn't get the DVR to work, so I thought maybe it was your PlayStation that was. He has no concept of how technology works, so he thought like the Wi-Fi and the DVR were somehow connected to my PlayStation, so he went into my room and unplugged it, just like because. And it was one of those things where like I'm in my 20s already, and I was just really pissed because I lost everything. And like, if you know BioShock, part of it is like collecting all the audio files and piecing together. So like I wasn't gonna do that again. Kind of like with Ray, like I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do. But like the argument was falling so flat because I looked. Like my whole argument as a 20-year-old was like, you touched my game, and my dad was just not gonna hear it. Like he was just looking at me like, bro, you have bigger problems than like this game. But he couldn't care less about it. But in my mind, it was such a valid reason to be upset. I mean, it is, but it is.
It's funny to hear.
In my mind, Adam, it is definitely reason to be upset.
Because in my mind, I was like, you have no idea, man. I was just about to figure out the Thinker DLC.
It's funny because so now I'm putting two together. What's fascinating to me, I'm putting two and two together, is that if Adam is in Kim's grade, then he's significantly younger than me, right? Because I already know Kim's younger than me. So it's funny to hear these stories with different games. Like I had that story with my original Nintendo, right? We talked about this before. You put it on pause and you just turn off the TV and pray that no one touches it because there's no way to save the game. History repeats itself years later with a different generation of gamers, but with like BioShock 2. It's just so funny. It just happens like that.
That's why I didn't want to tell it, because it sounds almost carbon copy of Ray's experience. I guess everyone at some point is going to have that.
We're all just like living the same lives, basically.
It's a canon event, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I'll share another one that kind of lives in the same world but slightly different. I got a Sega Dreamcast. It was my first Sega console. Dreamcast is one of my favorite consoles of all time. But I got Sonic Adventure, the virtual memory unit for the Sega Dreamcast, because it had like its own little proprietary kind of buttons. It was like a nano pet almost kind of thing you could do with it. Was really expensive. So my parents didn't get me the memory unit. It was just Sonic Adventure and the Dreamcast. The first night I got Sonic Adventure, I was just like, screw it. I'm staying up all night and I'm not going to save it, but I'm just going to play it till the end. I'm going to beat this game like in one run. I get really far. I couldn't tell you if I made it even close to the end. I think I was close to the end, but because of what happened, I never tried again to know for sure. But I was playing probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, playing as the robot character, because in that game you switch characters, different chapters, and all of a sudden there's an earthquake. I could not believe it. But anyways, the earthquake isn't what turns off the Dreamcast, right? It's like my fight or flight that does it. The room starts shaking, and for whatever reason, my just first instinct was like, turn off the Dreamcast.
I saved the world.
Yeah, it was just like, turn off the Dreamcast. That's not important anymore. Like, your life's at stake. And so I turn off the Dreamcast and I run under like a doorway and I'm just like, is everyone okay? My mom and everyone just kind of like wanders out of their room. Didn't even feel anything. And they're like, huh? You good, dude? After the adrenaline wears off, I'm just like, God damn it. I can't believe I turned off the Dreamcast. I was just like unconscious out of my body and I turned it off and I never tried to beat Sonic Adventure.
That's
ever again.
Guys, two great examples of just heartbreaking. My heart was breaking for you guys with all those stories. That's true. There was an old adventure game quote that is like still burned in my brain to these days that I still use when I play games. Save early, save often. If I were getting a tattoo, I might have that. Save early, save often. It's like in my brain. It's an old adventure game tip from the old manuals.
That's true. Save early, save often is a mantra to live by for sure.
I actually do want to get a tattoo of that now, like right here maybe.
That would be nice. Hey, Ray, just a quick aside. Do you think that some part of you thought that if you played that game again, that another earthquake would hit, and this time it would be bigger?
Knowing me and my anxiety, there is probably something deep down in me that thinks that.
That it would try to finish you off.
Yeah. I can never play Sonic Adventure again, dude.
Your hand just starts trembling as you go to put it on.
I don't want to play that game ever again, for various reasons, and somewhere deep down, it's probably partly that. Since we're here, and you were kind of talking about it before we went live, Adam, I think the pandemic was like a big moment for gaming for a lot of us. I actually specifically remember, and I have tons of respect for you, Adam, because I know plenty of competitors in my lifetime at Smash Brothers, at Street Fighter, that when they face me, they tend to be like, I don't want to play you anymore. You're just gonna beat me. I'm just gonna lose or whatever. But I don't know. That's how I got good. Is because I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't that guy. I was like, I would lose to people, and I just like more. Let's keep going. Run it back. And I think when I think about the pandemic and you, it's like, dude, you were always ready to run it back with me at Smash Brothers Online, and you got better, and you started beating me.
I never understood the whole, like, I want to, and it's not about beating someone, it's about like knowing that the person was difficult to beat. And I mean, like, I don't know, I don't have a big enough ego to be embarrassed about losing into a game. But no, I do remember that.
I should work on that.
The matchmaking in Smash Brothers is so good because you'll be riding a high, and then they'll throw someone at you that's just so much better than you, and it'll humble you so quickly. Like, I remember definitely getting, like, not against you, but against like randos, when you would just couldn't catch a break, I would just put it down. I'm like, I'm getting heated. I haven't picked it up since then. I think that also, like, at the risk of sounding like I put it down for too long, I can't get back into it yet.
To be fair, Ray, the reason why I don't play against you, the reason why I just like stopped playing with you is because I was having fun, but I was like, this can't be fun for you. There's a guilt of that. I'm like, I'm not even making this fun for you anymore. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm having fun, but like, I don't care about losing, but like, you're beating me so easily that can't be fun for you anymore. It's a guilt from my point of view. Like, I'm not matching up to you.
I want you to know it's so much fun for me.
Are you saying you had like imposter syndrome playing against?
No, just I was like, I just felt bad for him. I was like, he's not getting challenged at all. This has to be a boring tutorial for him at this point. Like, I can't. It was guilt that I was not giving him a good show. You know.
We love our combo practice.
He's just using like he's just killing you with just using like one button just to see if he can do it.
Yeah, it's just like he's one hand tied behind his back, blindfolded.
One of my biggest disappointments in gaming is encountering someone at Smash Brothers Melee in an era where like I was kind of untouchable, at least in my hometown, versus friends and friends of friends who like, oh, I know someone that can beat you. Like, all right, let's set it up, you know, and we do it. There was a guy in my hometown. He went by Johnny Hearts You on MySpace. So that's how I know him. And Johnny Hearts You is like maybe 2 years younger than me. And he was good at Smash Brothers. It was close. And like, it was this thing where like people gathered around to watch it. They're like, oh, Johnny Hearts You versus Ray. Like people were like watching this set. And dude, I mean, I got some games, but it was the first time I was like, this guy's better than me. The rage I felt inside of me, I'm serious, I wanted to cry.
I want to see that.
Like, while I was playing, I was like, I felt it. I was seething, and I just felt the tears like wanting to form in my eyes. I was just like, this guy is better. So
yeah,
that was a huge disappointment for me.
Oh my god, that's hilarious to think. I'm afraid. Okay.
Talking about disappointing IP. Just two things about most of those IP games are always bad, right? So, but before I had that like initial heartbreak, like one game was James Bond Jr., which no one ever even heard of that show. It was like a crappy animated show.
Please stop right there. Look out, he's coming through. He's got a job to do while he rescues a girl. James Bond Jr. chases scum. James Bond Jr. chases scum around the world.
Banger song, dude. I love that intro. It's a banger song. I didn't know anyone else watched that show. Of course you did. I was like, I was obsessed with that show. Went to a rental store, saw the NES game. I was like, yes, I can't believe it. Someone cares about James Bond Jr. enough to make a video game out of this. Let's go. And of course, it's the worst, absolute worst game. Just the controllers were so bad. I think at the time I was like, oh, the graphics are pretty sweet. They look pretty good. And then like the controls were just garbage. The enemies were weird too. Like you could like charm a snake and then like toss a bomb and blow up the snake while it was like charmed. Weird game is so disappointing, but like that was like one of my first intros into like IP being disappointing when it comes to games.
Yeah, I want you to know that somehow I also owned that James Bond Jr. game.
Oh, dude, it was bad, right?
It was bad.
You owned it?
I think I beat it. It was a summer where like my parents didn't like plan a trip. They were still working. Yeah. I was at home with my brother and my grandma. Yeah. There was nothing else to play, and so we just got good at James Bond Jr. and beat it.
Holy crap, dude.
But it was bad. It was not fun.
I didn't know I was going to find anyone that had watched that show. Now I didn't realize that even another layer is someone that had played that game. Surely no one else has played this game but me.
He had like a weird roll, right?
You could like dodge and duck and roll or something like that. But it was like so bad. It didn't work.
We're gonna do an episode about good IP games at some point, Brandon.
Okay.
And I just thought about the episode's name. It's gonna be IP Yay.
Oh my god! I just got that.
I'll share one last really big disappointment story, and we will touch on another video game, Brandon, that Adam can be the tiebreaker for. I think my brother knows this story, and if he doesn't, then man, I'm sorry, dude. When I was in, I think it must have been kindergarten, maybe first grade, there was a kid in our class who had an eraser that was shaped like a crayon. And I asked him if that eraser could erase crayon. And he told me point blank, yes, it could. And I needed that crayon eraser so bad that I traded him my copy of Mega Man 2 for it. And I told no one.
Oh my god.
And I went home and tried to erase crayon with my new eraser. And it didn't erase the crayon, guys. And I told him I wanted my Mega Man game back, and he said, finders keepers.
Did you ever get it
Oh,
back?
100,000% he did.
Never got that copy of Mega Man 2 back.
No,
And
that's when you get the parents involved,
like,
man. I don't care. I don't care. This is when you snitch. This is when you
Yeah.
snitch. You have to.
I was afraid, all right?
That might be the biggest lopsided trade in history.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
A full NES game for an eraser.
In my mind, had that eraser been able to erase real crayon, it would have been worth it.
Why? That doesn't even seem like that big of
I,
a.
when it,
Were you
I,
making this many?
I was a first grader.
errors?
I was a first grader, man. Of course, I was using crayons.
Like the idea of an erasable crayon is also like, what are you doing? So what do you need to cover their errors in crayon?
To this day, I love one of those. Could someone invent that?
I love that in your head, a crayon eraser is just as valuable as a full version of a video game.
Fast forward to like a year from now, and I invest my life savings on someone who says they have crayon erasing technology.
This can't be happening
You really
again.
went down a rabbit hole there. Well, so what did you think when you found out that they were erasable pens? Did you buy into that or no?
Wait, there are?
I've seen this before.
I'll give you anything, man. All right, so I want to get into this tiebreaker, Bran.
Yeah.
So on my list in our notes for gaming disappointments, and in Brandon's notes as a total victory of a game, is Mario's Missing. Do you remember Mario's Missing, Adam?
Oh my god. Does it have anything to do with Mario Time Machine at all?
It's one of those, yes.
Okay, it's one of those offshoot. I don't think I know for sure Mario's Missing. Can you give me a refresher?
Basically, you play as Luigi and
Uh-huh.
you walk around at like real world, like I think he's in New York or something. If it's like a very real world city,
Yeah.
looking for Mario as he solves math problems.
This
and-
sounds so familiar to me, I swear to God. I think I may have mashed up Mario Time Machine with this title as well.
They're both the same kind of game. I think it was a huge disappointment to rent a game. Mario's in a time machine on the box art. I'm like, hell yes, I'm renting this.
I rented that game. I had no idea how to get it to work, and it just sat in my room for 3 days, so we returned it. It was the biggest disappointment of Mario I've ever had, because I had no idea how to get it to work. I think I would have to replay it in order to get a fresh opinion, but I feel like I did play it, and it was just based on, like, historical trivia, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, this is just one of those classic examples of. I was also because you buy a Mario game, you're thinking you're gonna play a 2D platformer, right? We're all just gonna that's what you're gonna assume. I was also the same way. I was like, oh my god, you're on a mystery quest. You're gonna play as Luigi, try to find Mario. Like, oh my god, I'm so jacked for this. And this is one of the things where it was got the game. My cousin used to work at a Hollywood Video, and like they had like the reject games. He would just give to us. So that was one of the games we got. And so we were so jacked to play it. And then, of course, you see that you're like, what's happening? We're in real world now. We're going to Egypt. What the heck's happening? But it's one of those games where we loved it because once we got it, we like just got into it. We had a blast. We beat the game, learned some trivia along the way, made some friends, learned some facts.
Where was he?
I can't remember. I think he bounces around, I want to say. I don't think he's in one place. I think he bounces around. But this is like one of those classic games though that like if you just stick with the game and you're forced to play it, like you'll find something good in it. I don't know why my brother and I loved it. My cousins loved it. We played it.
It's what I call the James Bond Jr. effect. If you have it for a summer,
You have it. You got to.
there's nothing else to play.
Yeah, there's no swapping around to other games. There's no streaming services. You can't hop around. You got to just stick in and dig in and be like, all right, we're gonna make the most of it. So I think it's probably more just nostalgia.
You hold a fondness for it.
A fondness
I think
for it.
is-
It kept me company during those long, lonely nights when no other games to play, but Mario was missing.
When no one else had you.
Exactly.
Mario's Missing had you.
Mario's Time Machine had your back. Also, Brandon comes from a much different gaming background. Brandon's childhood was spent on PC games with like text and dialogue, where
Right.
like mine's wasn't,
Yeah.
and it was probably also familiar for you.
Yeah. It was a lot of text, a lot of reading, a lot of like story in that way. So yeah.
That makes sense.
One last thing. Big IP disappointments. Has nothing to do with video games, but a video game IP. One of the biggest senses of betrayal for me. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I think I had a crisis in the movie theater, rocking back and forth, being like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. Was when
I know what you're gonna
Super
say.
Mario Brothers came out. I was so completely jacked. And like at that time, like when Mario was at his height, there was no consumer products to get, right? There was no like action figures, toys. I think I had a sleeping bag, but that was it. There was like nothing. You couldn't buy anything. So we were just salivating for anything to come out that was like Mario. Remember that movie was gonna come out? I was so pumped, dude. I was frothing, like shaking in my bed, just waiting for this movie to come out. And then when it came out and I was in the theater watching this, I just was like, what am I looking at right now? I was like, they can't do this, right? I was like, that's the kid. You're like, this isn't okay. Is someone gonna step in and do something? And I learned so many lessons about life and about how things work. Talk about number one disappointment was the Mario movie for me. I was crushed, and it was a big learning lesson about like things just aren't gonna be how they should be sometimes.
It was a disaster.
Tempering your expectations.
Yep. Like the Goomba was like a little headed man in a big jumpsuit,
Like,
right?
massive, huge. I was like, what? This isn't cute. This isn't. Where are the colors?
Bowser was a
like,
white
he
man.
was a literal dinosaur, wasn't he? Yoshi?
He was like a little velociraptor.
He was
Wow.
okay. He was like a little velociraptor, but he was like tiny though. He
Yeah.
was like the size of like a dog.
Okay, man. I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember anything
And
about the
it's
movie.
just such a throwaway line. He's wearing like a dog collar, I think, and she's just like, "Oh, your name's Yoshi," and I'm like, "No." I remember seeing that movie in theaters too. To really timestamp it, it was a double feature of Hocus Pocus and then Mario Brothers. And my aunt's thing was that she would take my sister to see Hocus Pocus if me and my cousin could go see Super Mario Brothers. And at first I was like, I don't like scary movies. I don't want to go see Hocus Pocus. So we saw Mario Brothers first. And she was like, Adam, this movie is terrifying. He's like, how do you not like horror movies? This is a horror movie. This is like, what is happening? There's like giant mushrooms and people with, like you said, the Goombas were terrifying looking. But I was like, no, trust me, it's Mario. It's going to be sick.
It was sickening.
I was crushed, man.
He pulled out like the Super Mario Blaster at the end, and that was like the only tie-in they had to the games at all.
Oh, they used the pointer gun. Bowser's like a 60-year-old white man with like frosted tips.
I blocked this from my mind. I'm telling you, I blocked all this from my mind as a way of self-preservation. I had to.
Yeah, that movie was very disappointing.
Heartbreaking.
I appreciate you bringing that one up, man.
Heartbreaking.
But man, the new movie came out and like really made me feel like a kid again, though. So thank you for the redemption arc.
Okay, now we can go to the music.
No, I love that new one.
All right, we're about to wrap it up. I'm gonna throw you guys a softball this week because the last time I did one of these tunes, it was a little challenging. I'll give you the song. I'll do a pause, and you guys can give me your guess. You're gonna know it. You better know it, guys. You better know it. Here we go. No?
My guess is the original Kung Fu from NES.
Good guess. Definitely inspired by Kung Fu.
I was gonna say something like Ninja Gaiden or something along those.
You know what? Maybe it's not that easy of a song.
That's good then, right? That's good. That's not that.
I think it's right there. Someone's gonna get it, but not everyone's gonna know right away. I'll tell you the answer. It's the Mortal Kombat 1 either intro screen or character select screen.
I don't play that. I didn't play that much Mortal Kombat. I played that game for like one summer when I was in California with my cousins, and that was it. So I didn't play too much. So
it was a big one for us. We were big fighting game guys, so we played a lot of all those games. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thanks, Adam, for hanging out with us.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me.
When you find your laptop somewhere in those boxes, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get everything going on right now.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you for the next one, guys, and keep gaming forever. Hey everybody, it's Ray here. Just wanted to thank you for tuning into the Dire Pass Level Podcast. If you want to hang out and join us for the next episode, make sure to like and subscribe. That way you're notified when our next episode releases. If you really, really, really liked it, you'd do us a solid if you left us a review. Reviews are a great way to spread the word about our podcast, and the more gamers to share these stories with, the better. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. There we go.